Today I wanted to talk about something that was really annoying me, and that is the R word. For those who don't know, the R word I am speaking about is retarded. Now, this word has been used for centuries to describe people like me, people with disabilities, people with mental health issues that make them act weird or strange, people who are just different in any way, whether that be intellectual disability, whether that be disability, whether that be a learning disability, whether that be a physical disability. And I just tried to look up when it was taken out the dictionary, only for it to show me the definition of retarded several times, as though that word isn't something that we should be forgetting about or never using, because people still see it in the friggin' dictionary. Like, it shouldn't even be allowed to be in the dictionary. It's not a nice word. It literally is derogatory, offensive, rude. I know most of those words mean the same thing, but still, it is all of those things. It certainly isn't a word that you'd want to be called yourself, so I don't understand why other people feel the need to say it. The R word is literally one of the horriblest, hardest words that we hear, people like me hear, still. It has been centuries since that word had been created, and it shouldn't be in use today. It is 2021 and people are still using it, meaning that people still aren't educated enough on the fact that that word is a horrible word. I mean, it used to happen to me, and I went to school. I'm 28 this year, and I went to school almost 13 years ago now, and I was being called it then. My way of reacting to that was to cry, to get upset, to be angry, which then also meant that people kept calling me it because they were being stupid. And the one time I did respond to it, because I'd been called it for years, I got isolation. I know that reacting to it was wrong, but at the same time, these people had never been punished for calling me retarded. They'd never been educated on the fact that it's not the right word to use. I don't care if I'm called disabled or learning disabled, because they're true. Both of those things, both of those facts are true. I have autism, which is a disability. I have non-verbal learning disorder, which is a learning disorder. I have also got other conditions that are classed as disabilities. So I don't mind being called disabled or learning disabled. And often those words can help with education, they help with getting accommodations. But retarded is not a word that should still be used. Neither should mentally retarded, because no one is mentally retarded. They have intellectual disabilities or developmental delay, not retarded. That word just makes everyone upset. It doesn't cause anything helpful. That word literally, to some extent, to most extent, it causes people anger and upset. Even if people who use that word don't understand what they are saying, they should be educated enough to know not to say it. Because we're not allowed, as the disabled community, to call them names because they're not disabled. So why can they still use a word that is so damn outdated, that is offensive, that is rude, and that is completely and utterly wrong? Just because someone has an intellectual disability or a learning disability does not mean they are stupid. It does not mean that they are mentally retarded. It means that they need accommodation and support and understanding, not someone throwing a book at them saying that they're too retarded to do something, or that they'll never learn because they're retarded when they're not. That word is outdated by centuries. It literally shouldn't even be in the dictionary. I'm so angry at the fact that I have looked this up. I looked this up, this word, I looked up the R word on purpose for this video to see whether it still existed in the dictionary. I only got as far as page 1, and every single dictionary I looked at has the word in it, has the definition in it. And not only one definition, some had 3. And they all were referring to disabilities. It's 2021, what are you doing? I get that people aren't educated. I understand that people in the community that aren't disabled probably don't think it's offensive, probably don't see it as offensive, probably don't see it as wrong, because they probably grew up hearing that word like it was nothing. But it is wrong, and it is hurtful, and it literally should not be used. Use the terms that we ask you to use. Do not call us retarded when we are not. Call us, well, this is just my personal opinion, but please don't call me retarded. I am not retarded. I am disabled, yes. I have a learning disability, yes. But I am not retarded. I'm not I'm not stupid. I am bright. I am clever. I'm able to do things. I just need extra support and help. And accommodations where necessary. But that does not make me retarded. I mean, I don't get why disabled people get called retarded when they need support, but a neurotypical or normal person, when they need support or accommodations, they ain't called any of those words. They're not called retarded or disabled. They're just normal. They're allowed those words. They're allowed those help. They're allowed those accommodations without an argument, without having to pay for it, without being bullied for it, without being called retarded for it. And it isn't fair, because it's not as though we choose to be disabled. A lot of us are born with disabilities that we have no control over. And we are very, very much trying our best to get people educated on those disabilities that we have. I mean, that's partly why I have this channel. Because I want people to be educated on my syndromes, on my conditions, and so that they learn something from my experience. And they don't continue to be rude, to be hostile, to be horrible to people with disabilities. And included in that education needs to be the R word, and not to use it. And as far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't even be in the dictionary anymore. It shouldn't be available online in the dictionary. It shouldn't be in books anymore. It shouldn't be anywhere. It should be completely erased, because it's just indated, it's wrong, it's hurtful. And the more that we continue to see it in the dictionary, or in books, or in TV programs, or DVDs, the more people are going to think it's acceptable to use. And it just isn't acceptable. It never will be acceptable. The R word is hurtful. Just as much as normal neurotypical people would hate being called it. And they ain't. And they're not disabled. Just think about how much harder it is for someone who is disabled to be called it on a daily basis. It shouldn't even be in a book. If you see it in a book, ignore it. Scribble it out. Cross it out. Unless, obviously, it's a book you're borrowing and you can't do that, because if it's from a library and if you scribble in it, you'll get in trouble. But ignore it. If it's in a library book and you have to return it, ignore it. Don't even use it. Please use the other terms. Please use disabled or intellectual disability or learning disabled instead. Those are much more respectful. They actually describe the person's ability and disabilities better, and they don't hurt our feelings, because we know that's exactly what we are. We know we're disabled. We know we're disabled. We know those things. But the R word is derogatory. It is rude. It is insensitive. And it's wrong. And it's outdated. I mean, I don't understand why it's still allowed to be used. So please don't use it. I'm only asking for my own sanity. Please, even if you are not entirely sure on whether you should or you shouldn't, you should not use the word retard. Please educate people. If they use it, please say, please do not use those words. That word is offensive. Please educate your children not to use it so that they don't go up making the same mistake you did if you use that word. And please correct people if they use it, because it's offensive and it's horrible and it's derogatory and it destroys self-esteem. And I'm not just talking for myself here. It destroys self-esteem of many people when they are called that name, called that word. Please just be respectful like you would of any other person in this world, regardless of if they're disabled or not. Please do not use the R word. Okay, rant over. I'm done. I hope you learned that you're not supposed to use that word. Please don't use the R word in the comments or anywhere on my videos. I don't intend for that. And please just don't use it. Educate yourself and others around you. I'm going to go and hug my dog now because that was a really stressful, really confusing, really angry rant and I need to go cool down. So I'm going to say bye guys, see you later.